Hi guys, good morning to you and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I will be talking about how to get a fully funded scholarship here in Canada. There are a lot of opportunities here in Canada which most people don't know about, and some knows about it, but they don't really know how to go about it. So this morning basically I'll be talking about how to get it, how to go about it and all. So there are several openings for both master's opportunities and PhD opportunities, so depending on your field. And one thing is there are so many supervisors here in Canada who are willing to employ or who are willing to bring people from outside Canada to join their research group. So first of all, you need to determine, or you need to know if your area of concentration, if your field of study has to do with research or not. For example, let's talk about the engineering field and other fields as well, because I have some friends, not only engineering field are research based. I'm having a couple of friends too that they are in law, and I think they are if you're having a background in sciences as well, you stand a better chance. So for engineering field, you have to determine if most engineering, in fact all engineering field are research based, be it civil engineering, be it chemical, be it electrical, biochemical. All engineering field are research field, as well as the sciences, be it chemistry, physics, biology and all. Then other field as well, you have to know if you can, and it's pretty easy to know. So one thing you should do is, like I said earlier, there are so many supervisors in Canada that they are willing to employ. Yeah, is a form of employment. Yeah, because you will come here. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to be too fast, so I just want to break it down so that everyone can understand better. So if you are lucky to get this scholarship, and how does this scholarship works? This scholarship is open to both masters and PhD students as well. So if you are looking to further education, or if you are looking to get in for a master's degree program or a PhD, you can as well look out for this requirement as well. So the first thing you will do is for you to get the list of schools here in Canada. I'm gonna try as much as possible to put the link of all the list of schools here in Canada below. So you're gonna get the list of schools here in Canada, and you're gonna go directly to your department as well. So under the department, you're gonna see the list of faculty members. So here in Canada, faculty members are also called faculty members are also known as the staffs, or the professors in that particular department. So once you go online, once you go to that site, you're going to see the list of them. So like I was saying earlier, you will go to their profiles. They have their own profiles on the faculty website. So once you go to their profiles, each and every one of them is having their own biography. So under their biographies, you're gonna see like their research interests, their research areas. So it's left for you to see what you can do. It's left for you to see your own area of interest that actually interests you, that you know if you join this group or if you are given this opportunity, you can perform better. Then the most important thing for you to be qualified is for you to have a very good result in your undergraduate, and if you also have experience in that field, it goes a long way. And for PhD students, yeah, to be considered, you have to have published so many papers. It doesn't necessarily have to be so many like that. Even if it is 2 to 3, is still fine. But for master students, you don't really need to have published any paper. But if you have papers that you've published under this area, it's a it's a plus for you as well. So if your result is very good, if you've graduated with a very good result in your undergraduate days, that's a plus for you, because these supervisors actually want a brilliant student. They actually want a promising student and a fast thinking and an intelligent student. They don't want someone that would come here and they'll start teaching you from the scratch. Fine, if you get this opportunity and you come down here, you will be trained on what to do. Yeah, you will be trained on what to do, and after the trainings and all, you'll be left alone to work on your own. So they actually want someone who is a fast thinker, someone who can work independently without with little or no supervisions. So you have to have all these qualities. So, and don't forget, your results have to be good, and you have to prove to the supervisor that you actually want this position. So when you go to their research interest or the research area, once you've seen that it's something you can do, so now you proceed to write your SOP. And what is SOP? SOP is the statement of purpose, stating your interests in the research area, stating how well you fit, and stating why you would want to join the research group as well. So, and also you're going to state in the SOP as well, anyone that needs a SOP or you need help to review your SOP and or you can always reach out to me via my email provided below. So this SOP, you're going to state your research interest. You're going to state probably the experiences you've had in the past in that area. You're going to state your performance in school, like your academic performance, academic background and all. And you're going to state the impacts, like after you are done studying, after you are done with your studies and all, you're going to state the impact is going to have once you return back to your own country. So it's quite pretty easy, and your SOP should be very, very tight. Like, it should be very convincing. You'll be able to write a convincing SOP that once the supervisor reads it, he or she will be willing to take you in. So once you've succeeded in doing that, so, and one thing is that do not have one SOP here. I could remember when I was applying, when I was reaching out to these potential supervisors, I did not use one SOP, because my area of study is actually civil engineering, and in civil engineering we have various aspects of civil engineering. So I know when it comes to structure, I'm fine with it. When it comes to environmental, I'm fine with it. When it comes to highway and transportation engineering, I'm okay with it. So when I check the list of supervisors and I see research areas under either structure, environmental or transportation, I know it's something I can do. So I try to restructure my SOP in line with their area of research area, and I try to reach out to them. And one thing is that don't be limited to one supervisor. Reach out to as many people as you can, and this thing is not it's not a quick process as well. It takes time. You're gonna receive a negative feedback, you're gonna receive a positive feedback, depending. Some would tell you presently they are not taking in any students. Some will tell you check back in a couple of months. Some would like different things, so just be prepared for it. But one thing is that you need consistency. Do not give up. Yeah, it's worth it at the end of the day. Do not give up. Just keep on reaching out to as many supervisors as possible, and once you reach out to the supervisors and you notice probably for a couple of weeks or for like 1 or 2 weeks you notice no reply from this person, you can as well send a reminder email. There is no crime in sending reminder emails, because here there are so many supervisors. They are also very, very busy here. In fact, myself, sometimes I will send my supervisor an email, and sometimes it takes him days to respond to my email. So it's not as if they are doing it intentionally. They are also extremely busy here as well. So when they don't reply, don't feel bad. They are also very, very busy here. So try to send them reminder email just to remind them and all. And now let me tell you the benefits of this scholarship. It's having like a very huge benefit. So for your complete study, yeah, for let me say for master's degree you'll be spending 2 years, for PhD is 4 years. So for complete that 2-year duration, or for 4-year duration, you're gonna be paid nothing less than, sometimes it might be very, yeah, it is higher, like nothing less than $1,000 per month. And depending on schools, some people are paid 1,500, some people 2,000, depending on the school you are attending. So it's a whole lot of money. You're gonna be paid that every month till the completion of your study, and this money is more than even sufficient enough for you to take care, for you to cater for your living expenses. And that money paid every month is only meant for your living expenses, your tuition fee and every other fees, your tuition fee, your UEP fee, which is University Health Insurance Plan, that you can use in any hospitals and all. So your UEP fee, your bus pass, what other thing, like other expenses would be covered by your supervisor. He's going to be responsible for paying your tuition fee in full, like 100% payment till you graduate. After payment of your school fees, you'll be also paid your living expenses, yeah, just to cater for your living expenses. So you don't need to, like, when I came here, like I've spent roughly almost 2 years now. I've never for once used my own personal money, or my parents have never for once sent me anything from Nigeria. Yeah, I've been very, very okay here, like more than enough. In fact, I even say no sometimes. So it will be more than sufficient for me. So after the stipend paid every month as well, depending, it might be 1,500, it might be 2,000, it might be 2,500, depending on the school. So you will also work as, so the scholarship opportunity is to include working as a research assistant. So you'll be working as a research assistant for your supervisor. So you'll be like working in the lab, carrying out a research, doing reports and all. So while working as a research assistant, you are indirectly working on your thesis. So it's pretty easy. You're working as a research assistant for your supervisor, and indirectly you are working on your own thesis as well. So what you are working on will end up being your final thesis. Like me now, I've been working in lab for so long, and I've come to the conclusion of my program. So all the thing I've been working on is now my thesis. So my thesis is basically ready for exam. So working as a research assistant, so as well you'll be offered a TA position, which is a teaching assistant position, whereby you will be allowed to go into classes to give tutorials for undergrad students and all like that. So you'll be working as a teaching assistantship as well, and that attracts extra payment. So aside your own stipend that you are being paid every month, so they're gonna pay you they will pay you for teaching assistant. So that's an additional cost. So just imagine how much this money is going to be at the end of the day. Aside that, again, when you get on campus, there are a lot of scholarship grants you can also apply for. We have OGS, the Ontario Graduate Student Scholarship, and like so many scholarships you can as well apply for, so as to boost your monthly stipend. So I could remember then I applied for OGS, and OGS is around $15,000 every month. Hi guys, so welcome back. Don't mind my face, actually it's kind of looking very dull and kind of very stressed. Yeah, and it's because I'm yet to sleep. I didn't sleep for a couple of days now, because it's like I'm trying to round up with my program, so it's been very, very stressful for me, but that's fine. So like I was saying the other time, I was talking about so many grants and scholarship on campus when you get to Canada, and I made mention of the OGS, which is the Ontario Government Scholarship Fund. So, and I talked about how much the funding is, which is $15,000, and that is for a whole year, like $15,000 for, I think it should be for 3 for 3 terms, I think. So once you get on campus, you don't really need to worry. You can still increase your monthly stipend. You can do that by applying for different grants on campus as well. So I think that's all about the scholarship. It's actually worth it at the end. At least after you finish your studies in Canada, you're open to different opportunities, such as job application. You can easily get a job. You can also apply for your permanent residence and every other thing. So let me quickly recap what I've said so far. I talked about the funding opportunities, scholarship opportunities that are available here in Canada, and I talked about how to reach out to potential supervisors. Reach out to as many as possible. Do not lose hope, and if you are not receiving any positive feedback, don't feel discouraged. Keep on pushing hard. I can remember I reached out to so many supervisors, and at last I was able to get a positive response from just one supervisor. So do not lose hope. We'll keep on pushing hard, and persistency is very, very important. And you would also appreciate the fact that you did not give up. It's worth it. You would never spend any dime, like a dime. The only thing you need to do is just the only money you need to have is just for the flight. Yeah, the flight that's gonna bring you down to Canada. Aside that, your tuition fee will be 100% covered. Then your living expenses as well, you don't really need to worry. Like, I have friends that when they were coming from Nigeria, they did not even bring a kobo when they are coming. Yeah, when they were coming, they only paid for their flights and they came down here to Canada because they already know that something is waiting for them here, which is a monthly stipend. So it's more than enough. You can even save enough, like more than enough every month. So it's worth it. Don't give up. And if you have any other questions, like any other thing you want me to talk about, you can leave it in the comment section below. Please and please and please, I'm gonna be sharing a vital information here, and I also gonna be talking about how to prepare for this research journey. Like, when you finally get a supervisor, I'm gonna be talking about what to expect, how to prepare, how to be mentally prepared, how to be physically prepared, and all, because it's also demanding. Yeah, being a research student in Canada, it's not as easy as people think. So I'm gonna be sharing so many details about that. I'm gonna be sharing details on how to survive being a PhD or a master's student here in Canada as well. So please and please join the family, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I promise you're not gonna regret it. I'm gonna share a lot of exciting videos that you're gonna like. Thank you. So if there's anything you want me to address, or there is anything I forgot to discuss about, or there is anything you feel I should add as well, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I will be more than willing to respond to all your queries, all your comments, concerns, and everything. Thank you, and have a great day. Hi guys, so this is our office, and the office is basically meant for research students. So if you are so lucky to be given a funding or to be on a scholarship, you're gonna be given an office actually, and you're gonna be given your own space and with your own full monitor and all like this. So everyone has his or her own space. So this is my own office, and we have a fridge, we have a microwave, and this is also meant for other students like me. So in most cases, we have some people that they sleep overnight in the office, like probably they are working on something very important, that needs to be done as quick as possible. So this is my own space. So I did not request for a computer. Yeah, I virtually use my own laptop because I prefer to use my laptop rather than using a computer like this. So if you want, you can as well request for one from your supervisor, and it would be ready to provide. It will always provide one for you. So that's it. So virtually we have so many offices that are meant for both master students and PhD students. So if you are lucky, you will be given, if you are lucky to get a funding, you will be given your own office. So this is just the outside of our office. It's so beautiful. So that's it concerning the office issue. So you don't need to worry yourself at all. Everything will be settled. So see you soon. Bye.